Hello and welcome to the How Could You Forget podcast, a podcast where your hosts Gurdon, Lexi, and Eric come together and learn about a topic that maybe you'd forgotten about, never heard about, or it's simply too good to forget. I do have a question for you two.
What is that?
You two, the band, Lexi.
No,
if you could call them up.
I got a question for Bono. Real.
I got a question for Bono.
No, YouTube.
Oh, not YouTube, no, honey. YouTube and YouTube, I guess, as a whole, and listeners. But what do you all think is the world's smallest nation?
Swaziland.
What?
Swaziland.
What? Okay, you know what? We're switching the topics really quickly. Lexi, what is Swaziland? Can you tell me what Swaziland?
It's actually real. It's a place in Africa. I'm terrible at geography, but it is actually a real place.
I'm even worse. So you can tell me it was in the middle of Russia, and I believe you.
Yeah, I believe it's in Africa. Let me just do a quick search on my phone.
I think it's now called Eswatini. When I looked up Swaziland, Eswatini came up, but I know it's locally as Swaziland.
Oh, love that for her.
Slay, Swazi.
Slay, Swazi.
Oh, it did. It changed. Yeah. It was called Swaziland, but then on the 19th of April in 2018, they announced that it had been renamed to Eswatini, reflecting the extant Swazi name for the state Eswatini.
Every new name this gets sounds less and less real. Like
Eswatini is straight up a thing from Star Wars. I feel like what the little Jawas say, they say Eswatini. I'm pretty sure.
Also, Eswatini broke away from South Africa due to all of the bad no stuff going on in South Africa.
Yeah,
so.
Understandable.
Have a great day, Swaziland.
Yeah, true that.
How big is Eswatini, Lexi? If you have it pulled up right now, actually.
I'll just do population.
No, but not population. The size of it, Lexi.
Oh, the size. Oh, the sheer size. It is slightly less than half the size of Alaska.
That's pretty big, I think.
Oh, for an entire country. I mean, it's not small, but it's not big either.
No. Well, Alaska's pretty big, so I thought half of Alaska would be.
Alaska is pretty big, but for an entire country.
All right, so Lexi, I've got to veto yours. I don't believe that Swaziland or Eswatini is the smallest nation.
Oh, wait. Can I make my guess? Because I think I might actually know what it is. I'm going to guess. I only know that this country exists because I took some obscure political quiz or whatever to determine which country most aligns with your views. And it gave me something called Liberland.
Liberland?
Yes.
Liberland?
It's essentially, I don't remember all the details about it, but it essentially, Liberland, whatever. I think I was just imagining Liberland instead of Liberland, because the whole gimmick about it is that basically, the government just does not exist there. It's super freaking libertarian. I didn't think I was that libertarian at all, but, I don't know.
Oh, is it, what's the one between...
The Free Republic of Liberland is a micronation promoted by Czech right libertarian politician and activist Vít Jedlička, who began claiming in 2015 an uninhabited stretch of floodplain. Okay.
Yeah, and apparently, let me double check, because this is my memory and the Brave AI thing telling me, but it's apparently only 7 square kilometers.
7 square kilometers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I knew it was very small, it barely qualifies as a country. But that's my guess. That's your guess? Okay. Well, I thought either of you would have gone with Vatican City, which is usually what most people think of when they think of the smallest.
Oh, I was gonna guess. I forgot what the name of it is, but that little one either between Germany and Austria.
Luxembourg?
Yeah, Luxembourg.
Luxembourg is very, very small as well, but Vatican City is the size of a city. But that was a trick question because the smallest nation in the world is actually the topic of this episode, which is going to be Sealand. Do you all know anything about Sealand?
Is that a knockoff of Marineland?
It's like
SeaWorld,
but Disney.
It's like SeaWorld, but it's Sealand. No, I have no idea what Sealand is.
Is it it's so small that when you drive by on a boat, you're like, wow, I can see land, and no one ever gets off the boat.
I really like Tired Lexi's jokes. But no, Sealand is the Some people claim to be the smallest nation in the world. And,
how do you spell that? Like
Sealand, as in like SeaWorld, but Sealand.
Okay.
And it's the smallest nation, and it only currently has one person living on it. So...
What? Then how's that even real? Like, how's that even...
Well, I'm going to be telling you
Islands have more people on there.
Yes, Lexi, but I'm going to be telling you and teaching the internet about Sealand today.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be some really obscure definition of country that somehow lets Sealand.
Eric, stop reading my script.
I'm sorry. I figured. I don't know. All right. Zip. Okay, go off, King.
Let me guess. This is one guy who was like on a boat, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta get off this boat." And he just saw this little patch of land, and he got off the boat, and he's like, "Damn, pretty cool here." He just becomes his own president.
Damn, pretty cool here. Yeah. You're right at about 20% of it, but the rest of it you're not actually right.
Oh God!
Because you see, during World War II. You see land, yes. During World War II, England was trying to keep its shipping lanes clear and be on the lookout for mine-laying vessels that Germany would deploy along the English Channel. And so some very smart architects and engineers and stuff came up with an idea to build very large pontoon barges and then build 2 tall, hollowed-out concrete towers with 7 floors each on top of them. And then they would basically drive these barges out into the English Channel, purposefully flood them in a very specific way, and sink them into a sandbar.
Huh.
And so
they were sinking a ship with this concrete thing on it?
They were sinking these barges, which are, again, very large ships usually, with these 2 concrete... these concrete towers, but then on the interior of the towers, they had like floors and levels on them so they could store personnel and ammunition and barracks and stuff like that inside. And then on the top of them... So
they sunk these people?
No. The people were not in them at the time of the sinking. They made sure everybody was clear of it.
They were trying to make a way, like it's like a vault, but in the ocean?
They were making, well, again, the barge part, nobody went into the barge part, honey. Only the actual pillars stood out of the water. And then on the top of the 2 pillars, they actually put a helicopter pad and an area on top of that as well. So during World War II, England ended up making 4 of these, and they were considered man-made forts that were staffed by between 150 and 300 people during World War II. So they could keep on...
Oh, okay, so they didn't sink this with the idea of putting people under the water.
No.
People lived on them and lived on the boat, and then they just happened to sink because, yeah.
It's a little hard to describe without pictures. Yeah. So if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see an image of what this looks like, and a slight spoiler about to the size of Sealand. That's what it looks like. And that is the world's smallest nation.
The land on sea. Okay.
I mean...
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. You really confused me because I was like...
Well, again, I had to describe it like they didn't just go put 2 towers out in the middle of the English Channel and then go, this is here. Like they drove this barge so then they would have a very strong foundation, basically their own... slab of foundation that they could then stick into a sandbar, which are like very, very strong and usually are known for even tearing up boats. So then they would have this very strong foundation that they could then build on top of. So do you get that? Is that good?
Yes.
I do. I understand.
Yeah, I get it now. I was very confused about the barge thing and all this stuff. Okay, I get it now. It's just like a concrete structure out in the middle of the water.
It has barged into my head. I get it.
It's... So energetic, I know. But these were staffed by soldiers, so they could be on the lookout for planes and ships and stuff like that, as well as be like little portable dock out in the English Channel. But I said they were built in 1943 is whenever they were created, towards the very end of World War II, and so they only got like about a year or 2 of like full wartime use before being decommissioned slowly in the 1950s. And by 1956, no full-time members of the Royal Navy were at these superstructures. They had been entirely abandoned by 1956, just these giant pillared things out in the ocean.
Okay.
But
did they just get supplies from like ships delivering stuff?
Yeah, they just had ships, or again, there's a helipad on top so they could land helicopters out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that they lived under the helipad.
Yeah. Well, again, there wasn't constantly helicopters going like meow meow and like doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's probably scheduled, but still, that would suck.
It sounds pretty crappy, honestly. But if you fast forward a bit to the 1960s, a practice that was becoming very popular in England was pirate radio, where anti-establishment music... Pirate radio, yes. Where anti-establishment music lovers would go out to sea about 3 miles or so, excuse me, and play their favorite music that would not be allowed on, quote, normal airwaves for one reason or the other.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
It's very awesome.
What was so bad about the music that no station would play it?
Thank you for asking, Lexi.
Well,
on Sealand's owned website, which they do have a website. Don't either of you two go there because it's going to spoil a lot of this fun stuff. They called the rules and regulations at the time on radio, quote, draconian, and that nothing more than essentially the BBC was allowed to air over the radio waves.
It was just heavily censored.
Extremely censored at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But usually from an anchored boat, these pirate radio stations would leave the broadcast running, but would need to be checked up on, or the stations would need supplies from the mainland. And so, seeing the opportunity, a couple of members...
No wonder there was a big explosion of, like, British rock and, like, punk rock sort of thing, because that probably wasn't able to be played on their radio.
Absolutely, and that's probably almost where the punk part of it came from, actually anti-establishment.
Yeah.
So...
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of members from a pirate radio station known as Wonderful Radio London saw the opportunity and started squatting on one of these forts known as HM Fort Ruffs to broadcast and resupply from, while another pirate radio station owner named Roy Bates, who is a major in the British Army, had stationed himself in a different one of these towers that was out at sea. But he just happened to lose a legal case because his tower was operating within the 3-mile limit of the United Kingdom's borders. So it fell under the UK's jurisdiction, and his station was breaking the law by broadcasting on British land, basically, even though it was out at sea. So Roy Bates...
Do they give an example of what kind of music was played at all, or no?
No, like I said, if anything besides BBC was just considered not safe to air and stuff like that.
Huh.
Seeing another one of these forts and seeing the Wonderful Radio London people there, Roy Bates just happened to go to HM Fort Ruffs and subsequently took it over for fun.
All right.
Nothing in the Sealand websites or any of the other sources that I could find say how he took it over. But I'm assuming he just told the old operators to leave, and that I'm a major in the British Army, so you better leave.
Oh my god.
And now
Trust me, bro.
Exactly. And now that Roy Bates had his whole fort to himself, he was going to make this pirate radio station, right? Well, no, he didn't actually. Even though he had all of the needed equipment that he brought himself and that was left from Wonderful Radio London, he decided to just claim what is known as jus gentium, also known as the Law of Nations, over a part of the globe that was considered terra nullis, or in English, nobody's land, on September 2nd, 1967. And in doing those two things, he basically invoked, I'm creating a nation, which is what jus gentium is, and terra nullius is over a part of the world that nobody has laid claim to yet. So...
But how did that work? Because, I mean, yeah, they don't own the water, like, England doesn't own the water, but the military owns the base, so it's not really unclaimed.
They did until it was decommissioned in 1956, if you remember. And this happened in the 1960s, yeah.
I didn't know that meant that they no longer owned it. I thought it just meant there was not active military stuff there.
Well, there was not active military people there stationed, but... if you just abandon a thing, you can't really come back years later and then be like, haha, no, this was mine, especially once people start squatting on it. But the Principality of Sealand was created, again, on September 2nd, 1967, with the help of the lawyers that he had been paying to fight the legal cases against his pirate radio station. And so on September 2nd, which happened to be his wife's birthday, he took his wife, his son and daughter, as well as a few friends out to Sealand and created their own flag, which I gotta share it's not anything crazy. It is probably one of the most boring flags you will see. It is 3 colors. It is just red, white, and black. It is boring. but it's just a diagonal stripe. But he created the flag, as well as bestowed the title of Princess Joan for his wife named Joan. But
I gotta say, sorry to the audio listeners. I gotta say, this flag looks really like odd. Like it's like, okay, what?
It's like a rectangle with three colors in it, but it's
all flags are rectangles, Lexi. But
right,
I mean, except for Nepal.
But
you know, like it's like the red and black. But it's like diagonally going through it, there's a white stripe. But the white stripe is like off, like it's lower than it should be to be symmetrical, so there's far more red than there is black. I don't know, it's odd. I've done running out of flag designs.
Which, like, yes, every flag is rectangular, but some of them have like circles in the middle and like stars on, I'm just saying, like, there's none of that on this. This is literally just...
There is almost nothing interesting about this flag. Yeah. I'm very sorry to Roy Bates.
It's like they tried to copy Germany's homework, and then Germany was like, sure, but like, change something about it so it doesn't look like it's obvious.
If I had to guess... I feel like the Sealand's flag is based off of nautical flags, which use a bunch of
pirates.
Not quite pirates, but like nautical flags have just a lot more like, oh, hey, this means that there's going to be a storm coming, or that means this thing's happening. And so like they were very simple flags that people could tell from far away of like, oh, hey, a blue and yellow flag means that there's storms coming or something like that, or stuff like that. That was very easy to determine compared to... Oh, what's this? Is that the Australian flag or the New Zealand flag? How many stars are on that from afar away? So that's how I feel about Sealand's flag. Now, that would be where the story ends, right? A guy takes over an abandoned fort, 3.5...
As one does.
Of course. We've all done that at one point or another.
Everybody's taken over a sea fort in the English Channel before. But he... 3.5 miles outside of the UK, you claim it as your own, throw a party, have some drinks, and then go back home. That would be, but Roy Bates was kind of a madman, as I love to tell stories about.
You don't say.
Also, more credits.
I can't imagine, unless his wife was equally as just kind of out there as he was. Yeah, for my birthday, take me out to this concrete structure that you've claimed as your own land.
That's probably rusted to hell.
Yeah. It's totally normal. Well, it's oh, you know what? You want to go out to a nice dinner? Nah, we're going to go out to the concrete structure I just claimed as my own country.
We're going to go.
To be honest,
right, princess.
To be honest, I didn't mean a freak like that, honestly. Someone who will just claim like a random island plot like as his own and just take me out there, crown me princess, all good.
Calls you princess, cooks you some food, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm a princess now. This is amazing, yes.
I'm royalty.
I'm royalty, yes, exactly. But according to Sealand's website, the Principality of Sealand fought off over seven different armed incursions from other rogue states and nations alike, using, quote, an arsenal of guns, Molotov cocktails, and homemade projectiles, end quote, that they used to fight off these incursions. And on at least one occasion...
was that? That was that other people trying to come get him?
Yes, that he had to fight off rogue nations and nations alike.
All right.
And on at least one occasion, Roy Bates fought off the British government themselves.
Yeah.
The story goes that a British vessel came by to service a navigational buoy that was near Sealand. And they attempted to stop at Sealand to, like, get their bearing and to chill out there. But Roy Bates fired a warning shot at the vessel and told them to piss off. So the boat went back home and told local authorities that a man with a gun fired at them when they were trying to do their job. Yeah. And because Roy Bates was still a British citizen at the time, he was summoned to court on firearm charges.
All right.
Pretty normal, right? Everything makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Roy went to court.
FAFO.
Yes. Well, no, he's not going to find out, Lexi. Because Roy went to court, and spectacularly, the courts actually ruled in Sealand's favor. That because Sealand was outside of the United Kingdom's jurisdiction, which, if you remember at the time, only extended to 3 miles off its coast, while Sealand was 7 miles off the coast, the courts could not exert any law or jurisdiction.
I thought it was 3.5.
That was one of the other courts, forts. That was my bad. But Sealand was 7 miles, and so the courts could not exert any law or jurisdiction outside of their own territory. Which sounds like not much if you don't understand what's about to happen.
No, that's a lot. That means he can throw Molotovs at people and face no repercussions.
But according to Sealand, this was the first instance of de facto recognition of Sealand as its own nation, as England did not claim
we're on the map, baby!
Basically. As England did not claim the area of Sealand as its own, and because nobody else had as well, so Roy Bates's claim that Sealand was a new state was just upheld by British courts.
Oh my god, did they know that? Did they know they were doing that? Oh my god.
Yes, honey, because jumping forward a little bit before we'll come back, in the 1990s, another British ship strayed a little too close to Sealand, and again, Roy Bates fired warning shots at the boat. And
he was still alive? Like, how is he still alive to this day?
No, he's dead now, but...
Oh, okay, wow.
But the boat fled, as you'd expect, and this time when the people came back and were like, hey, we got fired at... They talked to the authorities, and even the local papers raised a whole stink about, hey, this madman in the ocean is firing at our people. The police didn't do anything, as they already had the legal case, like the precedent that this is not their jurisdiction.
Oh,
and
no.
So
they're like, sorry, just don't go out there.
Yeah, just don't go out there anymore.
Yeah. So I'm crossing over into someone else's territory.
Yeah,
travel advisory for Sealand.
Exactly. So they had not just one, but then the British courts themselves were like, yeah, just don't even mess with it. So they had de facto recognition, at least from the British courts, right? And on September 25th, 1975, Sealand went so far to prove their own nationness by creating their own constitution of the Principality of Sealand, as well as over time a national anthem, their own stamps, gold and silver coins, which are known as Sealand dollars, and even a Principality of Sealand passport.
Oh.
For who? For who? The 5 people that are there, him and his wife and his 2 kids?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
I just want to know, how did they get these gold and silver coins? There's no gold.
Yeah, who is manufacturing those?
Just melted down his ones he had and made new ones.
Aha, these are now Sealand coins.
Yes. Oh my god.
Each of these things, like I started with the Constitution because I'm like, okay, sure, if you're going to fake your own country, you might as well have a Constitution. But like the stamps, I'm like, how did he make his own stamps?
There's a whole economy. There's whole laws for international travel. Like it's got everything.
And do I know personally if any of these items are usable, let alone worth anything? As of the time of recording this, no. I don't think they are.
I'd imagine not. I don't think anyone's feeding. I don't think there's a high demand in the market for Sealand coins.
No.
Unfortunately.
But Eric, if you want... Hold on, I gotta pull it up now because you mentioned it. Let me go to their store real quick. Oh yeah, if you want the Prince Michael of Sealand 70th birthday commemorative coin edition, you can buy one on their own website right now.
Hold on, how much is it? How much?
Way too much. It is way too much.
Nah. It's like 220 Canadian.
Yes, it is just insanely expensive.
That's beautiful. That's great.
Yeah. But yes, if you want your own Sealand coins, you can go to their website and purchase your own. But
there's still some around.
Oh, these were made, Lexi, in 2022.
Oh, okay.
These were minted by the prince himself.
These were not. I was gonna say these weren't made by what's his name then.
No, Roy. Bates.
No, I feel like he would be dead at this point.
Roy, like I said, Lexi, Roy has already passed away. His son, Prince Michael, has taken over Sealand and is amazing from at least what I can tell. But
does he live there?
Yes, he lives there. He's the permanent residence.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's the only one there, I guess, right now.
How do they get any food?
I mean, Lexi,
what the helicopters for?
Helicopter? I mean, if you got a boat, all right, I'm gonna go visit this other country real quick.
He just crawls down a ladder to a boat.
And like he has a passport, so we can go to another country.
Oh my god.
I love this. Now, speaking of Prince Michael, and I have to say this before we get to the next part. No, I don't know how. And the only source for what supposedly actually went down is locked behind buying a book written by Prince Michael himself. So we will have to use our imagination here because I'm not buying a whole book and trying to read a story that almost certainly is going to be Sealandian propaganda. But
okay.
In August of 1978, a man named Alexander Achenbach, who seems to be a former friend and member of Sealand, as his title he gave himself was Prime Minister of Sealand, hired German and Dutch mercenaries under the guise of a business deal with Roy Bates to buy Sealand. The men came to Sealand while Roy Bates and his wife were away to meet up with Alexander Achenbach for a business meeting in the Netherlands, but it was all a ruse, you see. The men, while there, stormed Sealand and took Michael hostage, before, according to Sealand's website, put him on a fishing trolley and sent him to the Netherlands, where he then somehow made it all the way to the UK with his mom and dad, and they hatched a plan that became known as Operation Trident and enlisted Sealand's most loyal and highly trained citizens and created the Sealand Special Unit. Mind you, I'm not even sure
all
the
this for a piece of concrete.
It's a whole nation. Like, you can't run your nation.
But there's not even any resources. There's not even. You got some gold coins in a drawer.
I mean, Lexi, that's worth a lot. Have you seen the price of gold?
It's pretty valuable. I mean, look at the price on the website. Each of the coins is worth a lot.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure that Sealand had more than like 5 members at this time, so I have genuinely no idea who the most loyal and highly trained individuals were, besides if that was everybody. But Operation Trident then took place a few days later, in which somehow, after a harrowing helicopter assault, the Sealand Special Unit retook over Sealand and held all member of Alexander's troop as prisoners of war. And they even
so the original, like, Roy and his family took these Netherland people hostage?
Yes, these German and Netherlands people.
Oh my goodness.
And even Alexander himself, because he had taken control of Sealand in a coup.
But then he lost it.
He lost it because there was a harrowing helicopter assault, Lexi. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But eventually, and this is the reason why I'm telling this whole story is A, because it's crazy. But this is one of the most important pieces that actually proves that Sealand might be its own country. Because eventually, Germany and the Netherlands petitioned for the release of their citizens and contacted England because some of their citizens were currently prisoners of war, right? But as we stated, England told them they had no jurisdiction over Sealand as it wasn't their territory. So they would have to personally negotiate with Sealand themselves. And because the war was considered over after Operation Trident and they held all of the mercenaries like captive, they basically won their war. And because the war was over, they could no longer hold prisoners of war because the war is over.
Right.
But
throw them overboard.
No, they didn't throw them overboard. Sealand released the Dutch citizens back to their home countries. But seeing as though Alexander was a German citizen, but who also held a Sealand passport, he was considered a dual citizen to Germany and Sealand.
Oh my god.
And for his acts of treason against Sealand, Sealand then found him guilty and charged him a fine of 75,000 Deutsch marks, or 35,000 USD.
Deutsch marks.
For treason. So,
oh my god. And he had to pay it.
Well, how is he going to pay it if he's currently being held in Sealand's prison, which is just the bottom of Sealand, by the way.
That's kind of dumb.
I was going to say, how do they have this much? Like, you saw the photo. How do they have this much room to be holding prisoners of war?
Is he just on a boat, like at the bottom?
They just put him at the bottom. From what I tell, they just put him at the bottom of the towers. Like, that's where the prison cell was.
Can you go inside of the towers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At least I believe you can, because I don't
thought
know
they
what
were
else
just
you would
pillars.
do. Well, I said they were 7 stories, and at least in one of the other images.
Oh.
That's why I mentioned 7 stories.
They got a little gulag going on in there. Okay.
Little gulag.
Yeah, they got they got their own little gulag. Yeah, like that.
Just like that. But eventually, as I said that he was a dual citizen, he was a German citizen still. So a German diplomat was sent via helicopter to negotiate with Sealand for his release.
Why? They should have just called him. Talked to him over the radio.
They couldn't, honey, because they didn't want to. They wanted the German diplomat to come in peace, and so he did.
I thought you were about to say that they just didn't have any phones, which I would also believe, because I don't think Sealand would have a landline connection.
I mean, they probably don't. I mean, it was 1978, so they might not have actually had
radio waves.
Yeah, radio. Yeah.
But Prince Roy, also one of the things that in all my research, the leader of Sealand was only a prince, and his wife was always a princess, and I never got that because I'm like, why don't you be the king and queen? But I mean, that's just beside the point.
Yeah,
just wanted to bring that up.
I mean, it's their own rules. Why wouldn't you put yourself in the higher level of whatever?
Exactly.
I know enough at this point to just not ask questions.
No, but Prince Roy, happy that he was met with peace and no more blood needed to be shed, released the citizen after negotiation and a strengthening of Sealand's relationship with Germany. So eventually, Alexander was released and went back to Germany, where he tried to start up his own Sealand, not at Sealand, but it didn't work so well. So Alexander's not really brought up anymore.
His own Sealand at not Sealand?
Yeah, he just tried to base...
Just like his own country, I guess?
Yeah. But he kept saying, like, no, I'm still the prime minister of Sealand, even though he was...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just kind of a wild guy as well. Now, all of that was crazy, right? But what's crazier is that with Germany sending that helicopter and a diplomat to Sealand meant that in the long run, that with England not considering Sealand its jurisdiction, and with the diplomat arriving by helicopter, not just being some guy but an actual German diplomat, those two things inadvertently might have given Sealand a true de facto recognition as a nation in the world.
Oh my god. Yeah, I could see that.
Because
they rolled pretty lucky.
Exactly. Because for a nation to be recognized as a real nation, it needs four things, and I had to double check this. It needs 1, a permanent population, in which I said earlier it has 1 permanent resident right now.
Oh my god.
It needs, number 2, a definitive territory should be controlled by the nation, and the platform itself is defined as its territory and is recognized by England as not their land, and thus falls outside of English jurisdiction. Number 3, there should be a government for that particular territory. Sealand has a constitution and law set in place. And 4, the entity should have the capacity to enter into relations with other states. And the diplomat and communication that the diplomat and Roy had with each other is just that. 2 people communicating on behalf of each other's nations.
Oh. They just got all the technicalities figured out. Okay.
Every technicality. So, by all of these technicalities, by all of these technicalities, Sealand absolutely would count as a nation.
Let's go!
Let's hear it for Sealand.
Sealand! Oh.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Yeah, baby.
Because I can tell that Lexi is so excited about this. There's more.
Oh yeah.
Now, Sealand is now considered a nation and everything, but after that incursion, everything was chill, and there's been no other chill. There's been no other issues, right? Well, no. On October 1st, 1987, England decided to extend its territorial waters from 3 miles to 12 miles, which in doing so would make Sealand part of England once again. And while that would have been the case...
They go to war!
Oh my, the worst war ever. And while that might have been the case, Roy Bates, the quick thinker that he was, knew that this was coming after reading it in the press. So the day before, on September 30th, 1987, Roy declared an extension of Sealand's territorial waters to 12 miles as well, so that they would have the right of way to
and he can just do that. He doesn't have to get any.
I mean, as long as he passes the law.
Like it's his country, you know. Like it's
let's pass the law. Let our 2 citizens vote. Oh, okay. Wow, passed.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, Lexi, imagine if like Canada or America was just
I hate hypotheticals.
Oh, okay.
This is why this is awful.
But it's not hypothetical. This is real.
I know it's not. I know, but it sounds like it is.
Yeah, okay, it sounds like one of those situations where it's like, oh, you don't believe in this? Well, here's a hypothetical that'll never happen. But the problem is that it did happen.
Yeah.
But now, Lexi, here's the actual reasoning why, okay? And this is like, even though I'm not fully 100% a Sealand head, like I'm not actually a duchess or not a duchess, like a duke of Sealand or anything yet.
I am.
Eric, you can buy one. I'll tell you about that later.
Woo!
But through established titles, you can buy.
Sponsored by established titles.
Sponsored. But
Just kidding.
Apparently the expansion was so that Sealand would have the right of way to the sea and open borders for Sealand to be able to continue its access to international waters. Because if the 12-mile expansion went over Sealand, then Sealand would have no access to water that's not their own, or be able to access land that's not their own.
Okay.
And so that's why he was able to enact that 12-mile extension. So that way, Sealand, even though there was overlap, he would not be technically like crossing over into another country illegally in doing so. So there was actually some logic to it of like, hey, you have said that this is not your land and this is not this thing, and so it's now Sealand. So I need to be able to leave my country without stepping on your country. So I'm extending a pathway out. So that's how that one worked.
How did he make any money in order to get supplies?
Well, he was a major in the army at one point. I don't know how besides that. But,
maybe he was getting a payment of
maybe he was getting like a really good like pension or something.
Now, Lexi, you mentioned this. What if I told you that in 1999, a business proposition was actually pitched to Sealand by Haven Co., which was going to be a censorship-free internet hosting site that would operate out of Sealand using their infrastructure. That would be...
yeah, because that's always a great idea.
Exactly. And that Haven Co. would be free of government oversight, and a deal that would benefit both sides. And like I said, this was in 1999, and so when 2000 hit and the dot-com boom happened, Haven Co. and investors sent around 25 employees to install and upkeep racks of equipment, satellite links, microwave links, and upgrade the entire infrastructure for a data center.
Did they have enough room to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much room, but I mean...
Wow.
But, yeah, they sent out 25 people, and they upgraded the entire infrastructure.
How do you keep a rack cool in a concrete pillar?
Air conditioning. I don't know. I really don't.
What? I was going to say, no. I'm
Lexi,
like, you know.
Lexi, to be honest, the thing that I would be more worried about would be the salt. If I'm just going to be very honest with you, is that if you're right on like ocean water, you're probably going to get a lot of salt spray and sea spray.
Humidity?
And the humidity of it would probably mess with your things much more.
Not to mention free-speed social networks like that. Like, of course they're going to be salty.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just thinking about the nondescript place we work and the fact that we work with computers.
Nondescript,
and,
you know.
Yeah. And we work with computers, and I'm like, it's already sometimes a challenge to keep an office building at the right temperature and get the right cooling for that.
Yeah, like at the right humidity levels and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being in a concrete pillar in the English Channel. Like, what?
Out to sea.
All right.
Literally.
But Lexi, think about it
Free
like
water
this.
cooling.
Our business operates under the ocean, so I mean that does make it much more difficult.
True. That's right.
Yeah,
we do
100%.
have to take a submarine to work every day.
Yes, exactly.
You're right.
But for about a year or so after the launch of Haven Co., things were going well. But in 2002, after the dot-com bubble kind of started to burst, the CEO and CTO both left just because of disagreements. And by 2003, Haven Co. was bleeding resources and was eventually disbanded. And while that was just kind of a little blip, it somehow leads into the fact that in June of 2006, a fire broke out in one of the generator rooms and burned through the entirety of the north deck of Sealand.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Not good.
Okay.
But one permanent resident was saved by a Royal Air Force air rescue team, and their injuries were treated, and nobody thankfully lost their life. But over the next
How many residents were there?
Lexi, I don't know, but you're about to hear about 10 more of them.
Oh gosh.
Over the next few weeks, 10 members of Sealand and others cleaned the area, repaired the damage from the fire, as it was apparently extremely bad. So they had to spend multiple weeks cleaning up and just restoring things back to their normal state. What do you think Sealand is up to today after the fire, you two? I already sent you the coin, but do you all have any other guesses?
Rotting? Like, no, literally, like, it probably damaged to all hell.
With only one resident at the moment, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not doing too hot in current year.
I was going to say, I think the actual, like, the structure of it's probably not good. The one resident, I don't know. I mean, if there's still servers there, That resident could be living the life just sitting on Reddit all day. I
wonder
know.
if they have a Reddit account. Yeah,
Oh
that'd be great. Just get some updates from him.
Both of you with the Reddit. Well, I can tell you this, that in 2007, Pirate Bay offered to buy Sealand.
What?
Because in 2007, Sweden began to crack down on pirating as a whole, and they began to look for another country to operate from. And because Sealand was its own country, and I mean, hey, we'll just buy your entire country from you.
Please tell me this went through.
It does not.
Dang it. Pirate Bay operating out of Sealand. That is just like, wow.
It's so good, I know.
That would have been so amazing.
Apparently, this is from not their website, but just straight from Wikipedia because I haven't been able to find the exact number. Sealand asked to be bought for £750 million.
Wow.
And so, of course, they went...
$1 billion.
They went,
hell no.
Yeah, we're not going to spend almost $1 billion buying Sealand. Sorry. So then they did not actually go through with that one. But since then, Roy sadly passed away from complications from Alzheimer's in 2012. So Sealand is currently operated and run by
He
Prince.
lived till 2012?
Yes, Lexi.
That's wild. That is wild.
But Sealand is currently operated and run by Prince Michael. And Sealand offers a home to sports teams, oddly enough, that cannot find a team or nation to take them in. And so teams that either, hey, have no nationality.
Like for the Olympics?
Not the full Olympics, no. But for example, one of the examples is like FIFA. Like if they are like, oh, hey, FIFA doesn't allow our nation, or if there's another smaller league, then they will actually go to Sealand and offer to make a Sealand national football team, which soccer for Americans.
Wow.
And that exactly happened. The Sealand national football team played their first international game of footy in 2004 against the Åland Islands national football team.
Wow.
Before they took a short hiatus until playing again in 2012, and they played their most recent game in 2014. I think they only won one of those games, so they're not the best. But
well, you know, with the ample resources they have, it's really a wonder.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. They got enough room for like a soccer field, maybe.
Yeah, the grass field you play on, you know.
Imagine playing that and then you miss a kick and just fall off.
Oh my God.
But mountain climbers actually carried the Sealand flag to the top of Moostag Otta and the summit of Mount Everest for some reason.
Oh my gosh, there's a flag for Sealand on Mount Everest.
Yes,
Let's go.
What's next? The moon?
Lexi. No, I'm kidding. But Sealand even dipped their toes into Kung Fu, as Michael Martell, I believe is how you say it, represented Sealand in the 2007 World Cup of Kung Fu.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
What? Okay.
And in 2008, Sealand hosted a skateboarding event with Church and East that was sponsored by Red Bull, of all things. I don't know if that took place at Sealand, but I really hope that it did. That's directly from their own website. So
people just skateboarding in the corridors and down the concrete pipes.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool, though. But
it'd be quite an obstacle course to
next
go through.
map for Tony Hawk.
In Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, Lexi, there was an oil rig level, so
that's not Sealand.
True, it is not Sealand. But Sealand currently has teams competing in curling, ice hockey, as well as long distance running, which the last one is very funny to me.
Oh my God. Yeah, because see, the thing about like hockey and stuff, I could see how you could actually practice like on that base, you know.
Well, you also have to
long
think,
distance running.
Lex, you also have to think, while yes, they are technically performing for Sealand, I don't think all of these teams are
not
there.
actually training there. I was just saying, like, in the realm of possibility, like, you could probably skateboard and practice some skateboard tricks on there.
Or
you could
Kung
probably,
Fu.
like, you could do Kung Fu. You don't need, like, an entire thing. Soccer and then long distance running.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? I mean, I guess soccer, you could practice your own individual skills, but that's about it.
Well, Lexi, if those were hard to believe, the very last one that they mentioned is that there are even Sealand American football teams that are named the Seahawks for men and the She-Hawks for women. So if that helps you.
She-Hawks.
I love She-Hawks so much.
Have they ever actually played?
I can look up these Sealand She-Hawks. Sealand She-Hawks.
I'm sorry. Every time, you want to know how my brain is like so rotted at this point? Every time you say She-Hawk, I just think Tua.
Oh my god.
Sir?
No.
It's a problem. I know. It's bad.
I'm going to send the SealandSeahawks.com page.
Okay.
And
let's see.
They're not very good.
Whoa, you don't say.
Hold on. This website is taking 5 years to load. What's going on here?
To load. Their logo is really cool though.
Wow. Oh my god, these scores. Oh my god.
Their logo is so cool though. I mean,
it's pretty badass.
We're actually accessing the servers on.
Directly on.
Yeah, true. It probably is hosted on Sealand.
Yo, wait, what can I buy from their shop? Hold on.
Oh no,
it's on the Sealand shop.
Oh no, let's see.
It's taking.
Let's wait for like 20 minutes for it to load. Let's wait.
They're thinking they're getting DDoS right now because 2 different people are accessing it.
Dude, Sealand identity card, £30.
Oh yeah, this just is their website. You can become a count. You can become a sir or dame.
Okay, so it looks like I think this is the men's team.
Yeah, I think that's the men's team.
They played. Their most recent game was February 17th of 2024 in Scotland against East Kilbride Pirates Masters. So the Masters is just the league. So the East Kilbride Pirates versus the Seahawk Masters. Yeah, they lost 6-22.
Dang.
So,
pretty monumental numbers.
The She-Hawk women's compete in Lexi in November 2nd, 2024. And they lost 0-6.
To Netherlands. That was that revenge. Revenge by that guy.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, there we go. After he was released as a prisoner of war, he actually went to start a
women's
sports
football
team.
league.
A full women's sport team. I just kicked their ass.
Hold on. That was against the straight up Netherlands women's national team.
Wow. They're like, hey, we need to play a practice game. You want to come play?
It is just straight up exhibition.
Hey, yo, we need some freaking punching dummies right now. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But I do have to mention.
So what's Sealand up to now?
So while Sealand has a very storied past, as I mentioned, the future looks ever so bright, is what I wrote in my outline. As of making this episode, Sealand is actually one of the most environmentally friendly nations in the world.
Well, you don't say.
Now, Lexi, why do you think that they are the most environmentally friendly nation?
They don't produce any resources
They
at
don't really
all.
have any smokestacks or companies or anything there.
No emissions of any kind, because even if you get on a boat, then I don't think they're using, like, fuel. I mean, if they use a helicopter, that's probably not very environmentally friendly, but, like, yeah, they don't produce anything, so...
Well, Lexi, you're kind of right. As at the time of writing this, 99.9% of the energy for Sealand comes from solar panels and wind turbines.
Okay, makes sense.
As well as their entire fresh water supply is all harvested through rainwater.
Wait, so what's the other, like, 0.1%? That's not by solar panels.
I don't think they can technically say 100% because...
Right, because there might be some other fuels used.
And if you have some spare money to throw around, Eric... and you are willing to help fund Sealand and Prince Michael, you already mentioned it, but you can actually buy e-citizenship cards as well as commemorative gold coins that I showed.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't gonna lie, I am very glad you brought this up because while you were talking about the sports scores, I was looking at the shop and I saw that you could buy a Sealand identity card, and I am so tempted. I've just been staring at it for the last 5 minutes.
How much are they?
Oh my God.
I have the whole
£30
list for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Converted to Canadian, it's $66, which is still a bit, but honestly, for the meme, it might be worth it.
Oh
now,
my
Lexi,
gosh.
If I wanted to become a lord, or if I wanted to help you become a lady of Sealand, I can pay $30. To become a baron or baroness, we can pay $60.
Screw established titles. We got this now.
We have Sealand. For $150, they get very expensive from here. You can become a sir or a dame, which is basically a knight,
right.
a count or a countess for $300. Or if you really want to flex your love of Sealand and its heritage, you can become a duke or duchess for $750.
That's not as much as I thought it was going to be honest. Still a waste of money, but...
And they also offer clothing with the Sealand flag. That book I mentioned that I'm not going to buy. A Sealand email address and Sealand stamps. So... if you want any or all of these items, as I know Eric is doing right now.
I want an email. I need a Sealand email. I need a
How
email.
do they ship stuff?
I think it's through Hopes and Wishes. Let me just click on one of these and see. Let me look at
I mean, they probably just outsource it. Like a lot of merch companies and everything, they just normally get freaking China or some other company to do it.
You can buy the new Sealand stamp collection from 2020. They're so cute. Oh my god, I love it.
Let's go.
Here are their stamps. Look at the little seal stamp. I love it so much.
Oh my god!
It's just a little seal peeking his head out.
He's a little guy.
Oh, those are really cute, actually.
He's a little. I want these. Oh my god, I'm gonna buy out this whole shop. I'm gonna take. I want all their inventory.
How much are the stamps? They're actually really cute.
The stamps, if you want them for the full collection, is $27. So.
Okay, it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
And the things on the stamps include the fort, the Independence Day flag, the rib, celebrate the lifeline of Sealand, our primary mode of transport connecting us to the world, which is just a boat. Sealand flag prints, the inland seal, which is the very, very cute seal.
Aww.
The crab. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to read the inland seal.
Crab.
The inland seal. Admire the serene beauty of seals from Sealand, a nod to the rich marine life that surrounds us, as well as our enthusiastic football mascot. I love it so much.
I would die for him.
I thought they were the Seahawks. Why are they not the Seals?
The American football team, I think, are the Seahawks. The
soccer league.
The non-American football team.
Yeah.
Okay.
The crab is a tribute to the ocean's bounties, showcasing the crabs caught right from Sealand.
That crab kind of goes hard. That's pretty cool.
And the seashell, raising awareness about the importance of protecting our oceans. This stamp symbolizes Sealand's location in international waters. That one's really nice, actually. So.
That one is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Eric. Reason why I looked this up is to see how it's shipped. Let me hit read more. I hit more and there's nothing. It looks like I got lost at sea on a 404 page. So.
Well, okay. Guess no stamps for you.
Dang. But there's that. You can of course get the Sealand emailed, or also known as a C-mail.
Yeah!
Oh,
let's go.
Goodness.
I want my C-mail.
Now, Eric, I do have some bad news for you, okay?
What?
To get a C-mail, a personalized Sealand email address, you have to be a noble of Sealand. So you have to buy one of the other ones.
Okay, so I have to get the thing calling me a lord or a duchess or whatever, and then I can get, okay.
And once you get that, you can get the available addresses of @Sealand Lord, @Sealand Baron. Like, it actually tells what you're allowed.
Where does their passport rank on where you're able to go?
So I didn't include this because it was a little bit too, like, not fully political, but just a little bit confusing. So apparently, there was an issue with their real passports because people from other countries, such as Hong Kong, and just other countries that were trying to import to what they thought would be like a, quote, first world country, would attempt to buy the Sealand passports for outrageous prices. That's what the Alexander guy kind of got in trouble for, was selling these passports to people. And then whenever they got these passports, they're not actually usable or actually
legal.
Yeah, they're not legally going to help you. And so people got very, very upset and, of course, sued because they thought, I'd be able to leave my country and become a member of Sealand. So you can't buy those, but you can buy an e-citizenship card for Sealand from that. Yo, Eric, hold on. You can get a personalized coat of arms from Sealand.
Oh
my goodness.
This is going to ruin my bank account. I am so hyped.
But that is the story of the world's smallest nation. So just had
That's
to.
wild that it's still a thing.
Yeah, the last updates, at least from Prince Michael. Oh, they do have a Twitter account. Hold on, let me find that again for us real quick.
I wonder if they got Blue Sky, actually. Hold up.
Sealand Gov. Yep, Principality of Sealand. Here you go. If you would like to access that, it is just at Sealand Gov, and it's their banner is.
Oh wait, let me see if I can see it.
The banner is like a old timey, like medieval drawing of like lands and like ocean and stuff. But then it just shows this like, the fort itself, which does not fit Sealand at all.
It's like this photoshopped in.
Yup.
I love that.
And then they took that same one on January 30th and said, by royal proclamation, let it be known that the body of water heretofore recognized as the North Sea is officially renamed the Gulf of Sealand. So we're doing great.
Oh my gosh, there's actually a few people that have like Sealand accounts like this person. James of Sealand is a verified, and it says 3rd generation Sealander.
Oh my God.
And then of course Michael of Sealand.
Where are you seeing these Sealand people?
This is on their Sealand Gov. They made a post on March 13th about Joan, I believe. The mother and or grandmother. And they were talking about why she, how she grew up and stuff. And then it says, this is the month we honor the strength of women. So I guess they celebrate Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Sealand's so progressive.
And then they tagged Liam of Sealand, James of Sealand, which is the person that says 3rd generation Sealander, and then the Sealand Prince, of course, which is Michael.
Let's go.
Apparently,
oh man,
the Poland Ball official actually made a video about Sealand on March 11th.
Oh my goodness.
Dang. All right. It's topical.
It's very topical.
I also gotta say too, I just looked up, I just typed in Sealand on Blue Sky, and all the profiles, there's, Mark Barron of Sealand, Alice in Sealand, which is really funny, Sealand resident.bluesky.social, Baron of Sealand. Everyone, so many people have gotten also, like lordship in Sealand.
Apparently, if you buy an e-citizenship and like nobility thing, they partnered with this company called 4Ocean, where they clean up the oceans.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, e-citizens and Sealand Nobility. We've made an impact with our partnership for 4Ocean. We've removed 1,756 pounds of ocean debris as of March 2025.
Yo, that's cool.
That's awesome.
I love Sealand.
Yeah, if you guys want to help clean up the ocean, not sponsored, but,
started very strange, but it sounds like they're actually using they're
doing it for good.
Strangeness for good. So
that's awesome.
I can't really be a hater if they're actually just trying to, hold on to this and clean up oceans.
Yep, they're running with the meme, and I love it for that. So if you happen to be a member of Sealand, or if you know anybody that is, you should share this podcast with them, though.
Why not? Give them a little brief summary. Of the history.
And if there's anything we got wrong, or if they really want to tell the tale of what happened that day when they retook Sealand, they should let us know.
Right. I was very afraid in the beginning. I'm like, oh God, what is this? But really, took a turn, and I'm like, oh.
With like someone trying this is definitely the good ending of it, I think.
I was very afraid in the beginning. I'm like, oh, things like this don't usually end well. But man, this really turned around, and I'm sorry for any Sealand slander there, because wow,
Sealander,
Sealander.
Sealander, hardly know her.
Please don't sue me.
Please don't sue never mind, I give up.
We should also see our wonderful list of Patreons. Patrons.
We love to see you land on our Patreon.
On our Patreon. Put in your Sealandia e-citizenship.com.
Your email. Yeah, sign up with your Sealand email so we know that you're from Sealand.
You're a true C-mail. That feels like a C-mail.
That's really cute.
Yeah. C-mail seems like a either like a little name for like a little seahorse, or like a worse version of a beta male.
Oh.
Like a C-mail.
Yeah, there's like alpha male, there's beta male,
And
there's freaking gamma male, I guess, and then there's C male.
But they're just doing their own thing. It's not a bad thing. They're just out there in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that they aren't trying to start shit with like other bigger countries and their asses wiped out immediately. It's like, you know, they're aware of what they're doing and they're having fun with it, and I like
business,
it. Yeah, and I really respect it. Hey, yo, shout out Prince Michael.
Yo, shout out to Prince M.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Lexi, give us a pun on our way out.
True.
Alrighty, y'all. We'll see you land on the other side.
Yeah!